Welcome to the F1 Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast started by two inspiring Formula One fans. I'm your host, Rosa.
And I'm your Who Are You host, Luigi. And today we're taking you back to the 1978 season, part 4. So let's go.
I like that song. I do know that song because I loved watching CSI, and I reckon that was the song for the trail or the entry song, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that's the Who, isn't it?
Yeah. They made it really easy.
Yes, it did. It did. Yes. I've chosen the word inspiring because I think what happens in these next couple of races, I think is a bit inspiring. So,
let's see.
What everyone thinks. Yep.
Okay, so we're up to race 6 of 16, the Belgium Grand Prix. Not at Spa, it's at Zolder. May 21, 70 laps, and the weather was overcast but dry.
So a lot of the race entrants here were the same as Monaco, except for Tombe, who was temporarily replaced by Giacomelli due to burns that Tombe received during an F2 race the weekend prior to this. And there were some other minor changes in the midfield teams as well.
Yeah, and this is a reminder, even in this era, even though this is 78, they still did a lot of other non-F1 racing, these drivers.
Yes,
so they're not restricted like they are now. So the official practice started on Friday with Jones, Jabouillet, Peter Patrese and Daly being invited to take part in official practice, as Merzario and Raback were eliminated during a special pre-qualifying session held the previous Thursday.
Wow, that's a lot of action even before the race starts. So since 1977, the entire Zolder track had been resurfaced and the track was clearly much faster. In particular, Andretti, now focusing on the Lotus 79, so the new car, was finding this car amazing in the straight line, but also in the corners.
Which is like a dream, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. So while most other drivers were trying to find the right balance in handling, the Lotus was just super smooth and it was leaving everyone else gasping. Andretti passed his own 1977 lap time by over 3 seconds. And this was just the first practice session. So it just
3 seconds, that is huge.
Yeah, it's like a generational change, really.
Yes. Yeah. Even Andretti's nearest rival, which was Reutemann, the best part of a second slower than Andretti, and everyone else was over 2 seconds further back.
That's like daylight.
Yes.
So during Saturday practice, Jones had a brake failure and as a result went off track into catch fencing, which injured his arm. But more entertaining was at Giacomelli in the McLaren. Tell us about why, Rosa.
Well, in the words of Mike Lang, he did himself a mischief. As he was climbing out of his car, he tripped and twisted an ankle. And on top of this, he already had an injured wrist. There were no doubts that he was fit enough to race. So there were doubts that he was fit enough to race, but after some medical attention and bandages, he was ready for qualifying.
It's very unusual. Yeah.
He tripped out of his car, Luigi.
Is this worse? Oh, wait. I'm not sure what's worse. Remember when Jacques Lafitte used, was it brake fluid for eye drops?
Yes.
It's up there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So the final qualifying in the battle for pole was a non-event because Andretti just continued his domination and set a time that was 0.8 seconds faster than the second place driver. So really it was a battle for second that attracted the most attention, and it was a tough battle between Lauda and the two Ferraris.
Oh, he would have loved that, Lauda.
Yeah.
In the end, Reutemann secured second by just 0.01 of a second. That's 1/100th of a second. Lauda was third and Villeneuve was 7/100ths further back. So pretty close there.
Yeah. I'm wondering where Peterson is because, you know, he's got the same car. Maybe he didn't have the new Lotus yet because
maybe not. Yeah. Yes.
So interestingly, Goodyear had a policy of their best tyres automatically going to Lauda, Watson, Depailler, Andretti, Peterson, Hunt, Fittipaldi and Scheckter, while the rest of the drivers would receive the standard Goodyear tyres. However, at Goodyear's discretion, if a driver was the fastest on Friday with the standard Goodyear tyres, they would be given the special tyres on Saturday.
Get out.
Isn't that interesting?
No, I don't.
That's rewarding performance.
I don't like that. I don't like the tyre company deciding who gets... I think that's got to be a team decision, not the tyre company. They're just the hired contractor for providing a component. That is ridiculous.
But I do like the idea that it gives the opportunity for a number 2 driver to pip their number 1 driver and get access to the better tyres because they deserved it.
No. I am fundamentally opposed with the tyre provider having that much influence on a team. No.
I stand my ground and 100% disagree because I think it gives the driver their chance to shine through performance.
Yes, but that should be a team decision, not the tyre company. And what is this 2 standards level of tyres? Don't they want everyone to have the better tyre? Doesn't it make them look better if the drivers actually perform, like all the drivers on Goodyear's perform better?
Yeah, I agree.
Understand.
Considering they're fighting Michelin, I agree with that.
I was going to say, what if Michelin finish ahead of all the standard driver people, standard tyre people?
And for the record, this is why we run out of time in our episodes. we try to do 3 races an episode, and we end up with 2 because we talk about things like this.
We argue. All right. So it was Patrese and Jones who were the Friday standards that became the Saturday specials.
Yes.
Man, I don't agree. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So Anu finally qualified for the race. So he was now able to make his debut in the Martini. So unlike 1977, when all the drivers were uncertain as to which tyres to use, this year's there was no such drama as the weather was dry.
But there was some drama because as the drivers lined up on the grid and the lights changed, chaos broke out. It started when Reutemann was unable to select second gear in the spare Ferrari that he had decided to use. So he was coasting briefly before grabbing third gear.
Okay. As a result of this, Scheckter, who was on a charge on the outside of the track and partly on the grass, ran into the back of Lauda's Brabham. At the same time, on the other side of the track, Patrese came into contact with Hunt's McLaren.
What a shambles. Like
and
everyone,
this was not even the race.
No.
This is like lining up on the grid and stuff.
That's right. Then Hunt turned sharp into the path of oncoming cars further back, and amazingly, all the cars missed him. With Lauda's Brabham having come to rest, there was more confusion as X, good old X, we haven't heard about him, in the Ensign, hit Fittipaldi in his Copersucar, while Peroni's Tyrrell was launched into the air by riding up the rear wheels of Arnoux Martini. What is going on here?
So have we started the race yet? No. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, okay. So for a while, it seemed like all the cars... Maybe.
I think we have.
Yeah, I think we have. We just didn't say it. Yeah, it seems the way we're talking about it, it seems like the race has started. Okay, so we're good.
Yes, I think we're good. But at least the race has started. If this was all happening on the warm-up lap, you'd wonder what was going on. Yeah.
So for a while, it seemed like all the cars were going in all sorts of different directions. Once the dust settled, the drivers were forced to retire were Lauda, Hunt and Fittipaldi. Meanwhile, Andretti made an awesome start and was already 2 seconds up the road by the end of the first lap.
This was all Reutemann's fault, though, because he couldn't start fast enough like with the rest of the cars, and he caused a bit of a pile-up.
Yeah.
Villeneuve was now in second place and Scheckter was third, despite his collision with Lauda at the start. Reutemann was back in 8th place.
For what is formerly a muffed nonsense start, plus he had to create other nonsense starts for other drivers around him. So That's a special double, and he got 8.
That's a double.
The sweet spot of the nonsense starts.
That's right.
Yeah.
So over the next few laps, Andretti settled into a comfortable 3-second lead, while Villeneuve was doing everything in his power to keep the Lotus within reach. Meanwhile, Scheckter was falling back and was very busy holding back a very determined Peterson. There we go. We see Peterson.
Yeah. And I wish I remembered which car he was in. But considering how dominant and strong Andretti was...
Peterson's in the Lotus.
I know whether he's in the new or the older Lotus.
All right, you keep going. I can
you look up, see if he was in the Lotus 78 or the Lotus 79.
Yeah, okay.
For 1978. So considering how dominant Andretti was, I'm not surprised that Peterson was all over the back of Scheckter if it's the new car. He must have had an awesome car regardless of which Lotus it was, because even last year's Lotus was pretty good too. And it was not long before Peterson was up into 3rd place.
No, I can't find it, Louis.
That's okay.
Scheckter was soon in the pits dealing with a damaged nose cone, which allowed Patrese up into 4th place, while Reutemann had himself charged back up to 5th place. That's pretty good.
And special mention, Patrese's just up there, isn't it?
I know.
I know. He's really doing well on that new car. I mean, okay, it's a shadow copycat, but it's still a new team, you know?
Yeah.
So as the race reached the halfway mark, the gap between Andretti and Villeneuve was steady, or if anything, slightly reducing in Villeneuve's favour. And Peterson was looking very comfortable in 3rd, while Patrese, unfortunately, would retire from his amazing 4th with a suspension issue.
So Reutemann was now up to 4th with quite a gap to Depailler and Lafitte. But then on lap 40, 2nd place Villeneuve's front tyre exploded. Villeneuve was able to keep the car in the right direction, and he crawled back to the pits for a new tyre, which damaged his front wing in the process.
So Villeneuve would fall a lap behind the leaders in 6th place. This meant that Lotus was now running 1st and 2nd, with only Depailler and Reutemann being the only drivers on the same lap as the Lotus pair. So look at that. Reutemann is up to, 4th after that nonsense start?
So far, the legend of Villeneuve is another
mishap. Tyre.
Yeah. I'm waiting. Have we seen an amazing move from Villeneuve come off yet? No, because he crashed on that one that he tried. So far, we've seen just, risk-taking and bad luck, you have to say.
Yeah.
Andretti, nervous about his tyres, started to back off, and this allowed Villeneuve to unlap himself. The Lotus 1-2 looked like a certainty until lap 56, when Peterson suddenly went screaming into the pits. His left front tyre was worn. He had both fronts changed and was back in 4th place with 16 laps to go.
So with Peterson now the centre of attention, because with those fresh tyres and 7 laps to go now, he was now forcing his way past Lafitte's Ligier to claim 3rd, and was targeting and honing in Reutemann's 2nd place Ferrari, which was at that point 6 seconds up the road and understeering horribly.
It took only 3 laps for Peterson to catch Reutemann, and on lap 67 of 70 moved back into 2nd place with a new lap record. Andretti would win the race by 9.9 seconds ahead of his teammate Peterson.
There you go. Andretti wins on debut with that all-new Lotus 79, and that's a dominant showing with a new car.
Yeah. There was more drama right at the end, though, as Lafitte's Ligier had caught Reutemann on the last lap, and as they went down the straight, the two drivers braked for the chicane. Neither driver gave an inch, and they collided and spun off into the sand.
Reutemann was able to continue, but poor Lafitte forced to retire on the spot with a bent suspension. He had 3rd place in the bag, but I guess, Reutemann held on to 3rd, of course, despite the incident, because he was still 23 seconds ahead of his teammate Villeneuve in 4th.
Interesting. Poor Lafitte. Yeah. He tried for a last lap overtake. No, never good. Never good to try. People defend harder on last laps for their position, I'd say. So to the standings in the driver championship, we've got Andretti first on 23, 27, Depailler second on 23, Reutemann third on 22, and Peterson fourth on 20. Lauda's fifth on 16. So pretty close.
Yeah.
Maybe Lauda's a little bit out of it right now, but we're only up to race 6. In the constructors, we've got Lotus on 36, Tyrrell on 25, Ferrari on 22, and Brabham on 20.
Okay, and Depailler, let's look at him up in second in the championship. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
So race 7 of 16, that's what we're up to now, the Spanish Grand Prix at Jarama. June 4, 75 laps, and the weather was warm and sunny.
So an ominous sight presented all the teams as now 2 Lotus 79s turned up for the Spanish Grand Prix. So, yeah, Peterson must have been in the old one there, Louis, previous race.
Well. Yeah, he did well too. He finished second, didn't he? So in the older Lotus. So that answers that question. And let's not forget a 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2 as well. So as soon as practice started, both Andretti and Peterson were lapping well below the pole time again that Andretti set in 1977 with the Lotus 78. In fact, both Lotus drivers were consistently lapping 1 second faster than all the other front runners.
Yeah, it's like they've just reframed everything.
Yeah.
The battle for third was quite heated. And the usual gaggle of front runners were present, including the 2 Brabhams of Watson and Lauda, Reutemann and Villeneuve in the Ferraris, Hunt in the McLaren, and Scheckter in the Wolf.
And Lafitte in the Ligier, using the standard Goodyear tyres, was the fastest. So he earned the right to the special Goodyear tyres on Saturday. I am not liking this rule. I'm just going to say it again. This is going to take a while to get used to. And how hard is it for the driver? Give me the good tyres. You want to see a good performance? Give me the good tyres.
But the reason why I support this is going to go back to my high school days. When I was in, I think it was year 11 or 12, I did maths double. That's what it was called in my high school times. And long story short, I was put in the second maths class. So there were 30 kids in the first maths class. And in the second maths class, I was like the top student, but I got the 10th highest mark overall. So I should have been in the first class. This makes me think about the special Goodyear tyres. I deserved those special Goodyear tyres, and so did Lafitte. I should have got the special Goodyear tyres all the time. I kept having to drive with the standard Goodyear tyres, and so I liked the special recognition that I would have got back then.
So you reckon they didn't have enough special Goodyear tyres to give everyone?
Yes.
No.
I stand by the strategy. I think it's good.
No, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So on the second day of practice, Andretti was busy trying out many different tyre compounds, and he set a blistering time of 1 minute 16.39 to take pole ahead of Peterson, 1 minute 16.68.
Reutemann would eventually secure third, 1.01 seconds back in his Ferrari. Hunt was next, then Villeneuve and Lauda.
At this point in time, Peterson's thinking, yes, I'm in the right team. 1 second ahead of everyone else. So when the warm-up lap was done, the green light switched earlier than normal for race start, and Peterson was caught completely off guard, while Andretti made a great start along with Reutemann.
However, Hunt made a real demon start from the second row, dodged around the sluggish Peterson, got alongside Andretti and swooped across the Lotus to take the lead.
Those are clearly Mike Lang's words because let's not forget, one, Mike Lang loves James Hunt, so no doubt he said real demon start, and he's missed James Hunt a lot this year so far.
Yes.
So to the race. For a moment, it looked like Andretti was going to retaliate right away, but cooler heads prevailed, so Hunt was leading, followed by Andretti, Reutemann, Watson, Villeneuve, Patrese, Lafitte, Scheckter, then Peterson and Lauda.
I reckon if Villeneuve was in Andretti's place, he would have retaliated straight away.
Maybe, yeah.
And probably Patrese as well. So Peterson from second on the grid was ninth. Oh, Louis, that's almost a nonsense start.
Yeah.
And Lauda from fifth on the grid was 10th. So meanwhile, up front, Hunt was driving with significant energy. This is the first time he's leading a Grand Prix this year, I'd say.
Yeah.
But Andretti looked like he was perpetually ready to pounce into the lead, which he finally did on lap 6.
Very patient. Once in the lead, Andretti pulled away rapidly. Remember, this car's 1 point something seconds ahead of everyone, including that Hunt car. And there was nothing Hunt could do other than appreciate that he was now sitting in a comfortable second place. And Reutemann, in turn, looked like he was in a comfortable third.
But behind Reutemann, there was a long gaggle of cars running nose to tail, led by fourth-placed Watson and the end of the snake being the sister Brabham of Lauda, still in 10th place.
So with 3 drivers seemingly very settled in their respective positions, the focus was on this large battle for fourth, with a range of shuffling going on, including a feisty Patrese, he's back, passing Villeneuve's Ferrari.
Oh, no, we've got Patrese and Villeneuve together.
Yeah, and Villeneuve was also struggling with tyre issues at this point in time.
Unfortunately, though, Patrese's strong drive in 5th place would end on lap 22 when his engine suddenly blew up. Meanwhile, up front by lap 28, Andretti was 10 seconds ahead of Hunt, while Reutemann, also struggling with his tyres, started to fall back to the large group battle for 4th place. Poor Patrese, he's had a lot of bad luck, hasn't he?
I know, he has. And he's not in a great car. Remember, he's in a new car. So he's really outperforming that car as well.
Yep.
With Villeneuve and Reutemann really struggling, both cars were called in for a new set of tyres, and they changed them very quickly indeed. Reutemann would come out in 10th, while Villeneuve was 15th. While there's still much of the race to go, that's still a bit back, I think.
Yes. Meanwhile, Depailler was on a charge and was quickly a part of this group, and Watson was having gearbox trouble. So Peterson and Lauda went past the hobbled Brabham.
So this now meant that Peterson was third, with Lafitte and Lauda right with him. And they started to close in on the second-placed Hunt, who was now starting to have his own tyre issues. And it turns out that Hunt, in his eagerness to challenge the Lotus, went with very soft tyres.
And soft tyres, as we know, Louis, don't last. And try as he might, as they reached the 50-lap mark of the 75-lap race, Peterson was quickly catching the McLaren.
He did a lot of laps on those soft tyres.
Yes.
And on lap 53, just like lap 6, Hunt had the joy of being caught and passed by another Lotus. And by lap 57, Lauda's Alfa Romeo engine blew up.
Oh.
And lap 60, Hunt finally chose to pit for fresh tyres. He would rejoin the race a lap down on Andretti, now in 6th place.
That's a pretty poor strategy for tyre change right there.
Yeah.
He was only in 6th because as Hunt came out of the pits, Reutemann's Ferrari had a fairly dramatic accident as a shaft in his car sheared, which caused the Argentinian to fly off the track through catch fences, over a guardrail and into some high debris fences where the car finally came to rest with its wheels about a metre off the ground.
Wow. Not that we know exactly what a car, it sheared something. Not good though. Despite it looking like a very dramatic accident, Reutemann luckily walked away unhurt. Meanwhile, up front, it was pretty much Belgium 2.0, as the 2 Lotus drivers reeled off the remaining laps in a demonstration of total superiority. Andretti would win by over 20 seconds from Peterson. And remember, this time they've both got the new Lotuses, whereas the last race it was just Andretti.
Yes. Lafitte would do well to finish in 3rd place from 10th on the grid, while Scheckter was in 4th in the Wolf and Watson 5th in the Brabham. Hunt would claim the final point in 6th place. Which is pretty good given he was a lap down, wasn't he? Didn't he come back a lap down? Yeah.
Yeah, and he had that pit stop with like 10 or 15 laps to go.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the championship standings. Andretti is first on 36, Peterson, his teammate, second on 26, Depailler on 23 and Reutemann on 22, Lauda still on 16. On the constructors' side, we've got Lotus on 45, Tyrrell on 25, and Ferrari and Brabham equal on 22.
Okay, so we'll get one more race in, I reckon, and we'll get to the end of the first part of the season.
Okay.
So we're up to race 8 of 16, the Swedish Grand Prix at Anderstorp. It's on June 17, 70 laps, and the weather was warm and sunny.
So it was now time for the Brabham team to steal the limelight as they turned up with a large vertically aligned extractor fan attached to the back of the car.
I'm wondering if we can fit this episode in now.
I don't think we can.
I don't think we can. I think we're going to call it. We've broken. Yeah. We've never done the opening and then called it, but I think we're going to need more time.
Yes, because we're going to go into a lot of politics that happens here. Yeah, so I think we're going to stop for a minute. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you next time, everyone, for Sweden.
Sweden. Don't miss it. You all know you want to hear it.
Don't miss it. That's right.
Bye.
Bye.